my whole closet. I basically just shove stuff in there that I need to get out of the way.
It's a black hole, really.
It is really a black hole, yes.
Every nook and cranny in this house is an opportunity to shove stuff. They're not using their space properly at all.
This is just a junk pile where I shove stuff, right? Because I'm a shover, I shove stuff in just to get it out of the way.
You just have a drawer where you shove stuff. You just have a closet where you shove stuff. You just have a room where you shove stuff. What is in there?
I don't know. Oh, my exercise thing's back there. I'd love to use that, but I can't get it out.
This is the living room.
Slash dining room.
Slash
homeschool room. Slash piano practice room. Slash TV watching room.
I'm surprised there's no swimming pool in here, because that's the only thing we're missing.
And that is a little bit of consumed, and you can see our next guest, of course, as the host. Her name is Jill Pollack. Jill, how are you?
Jill, how are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Thank
Good.
you.
Now, you know, in my house, your show is a big feature. My wife was just here. I'm not kidding. I'm not blowing smoke. I've seen her geek out about people like twice in our entire relationship. She totally nerded out about you.
Okay. And, you know, I know that she's here, your wife, but she tends to, pack rat, you called her in the past, but she's very organized. Is that still someone who is consumed?
Well, when you have, listen, when you have too much stuff, if she can function and she's not stressed out over her stuff, then maybe she's just, you know, quite the acquirer. She's the gatherer times 10.
Well, and my sister calls it nostalgia.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's this history thing that sort of is where she hangs her hat. And it's very good. It's compartmentalized. It's out of view, and it's not cluttering up our living space. But she gets really attached to things. And there is a real fine line that you see in her show between that attachment to things and how it can really take over a life.
Well, that's the problem, too, is when you sort of feel like, oh, I used that when I was a baby. My grandmother gave that to me, my dead uncle. You know, it all holds... Listen, all these objects hold a lot of energy, right? So you look at it, you have memories, but when you can't let anything go, I mean, it does become a problem.
Now, we have to talk about the family that we saw in the clip there, because everybody has things that are nostalgic, but one thing was particularly disturbing in that episode. The husband kept his beard, his first beard.
I know, can you believe?
I had a panic attack when I saw that.
So did I! I was like, seriously, where's the mace? I can't take it.
It was his first beard. I understand having an attachment to that. No.
Okay.
Not at all.
But people keep weird things. Like, I don't understand DNA things. Like, people keep their pregnancy tests or...
Yeah, you found a pregnancy test.
Yeah, and then that's not so abnormal. I mean, celebrities talk about keeping their pregnancy test. It's very odd. I don't understand it. Like, you have the baby, don't you? Please, God, that you have the baby. Like,
the baby
why
is
do you have
nostalgia.
Yeah, exactly. Keep the kid. Throw away the test. Yeah, it is kind of odd.
Now, tell us about the process that you do go through. Maybe we can use that family as an example, because we're going to see their after in a little bit. But tell us about the process.
Okay, so first I have to assess their situation, their home, the stuff they have, what they're keeping, why are they keeping it. It's a little Psych 101. I have to understand why, you know, what is their sort of maybe clutter issue? Because everyone's got their own type of clutter, you know. Sometimes it's general.
What would you classify their clutter? Because it literally was
clutter.
Everywhere, all over the house, everything.
Yeah. Well, she had a particular problem with clothing, because I think she grew up not as well off, and she felt like she wasn't dressed properly, and she has 3 young children, and so she kept a lot of clothes. And she would go to swap meets and get clothes and clothes, and so she had this mountain of clothes, baby clothes, and she was always keeping, you know, sort of for the next baby, and so her clothing was her issue, and it stemmed back from her childhood, where she felt like I didn't have nice things to wear. So I assess people's homes first, and then we get rid of everything.
It is amazing, though. I mean, you just mentioned it, but what comes up during this process as people are winnowing down their possessions, deciding what really matters? It leads to really fascinating conversations about people's history and that the repercussions and the little echoes that you see throughout people's lives.
Right. Well, I mean, it all really means something, especially if it's gone out of control. You have to go back to the reason why it's gotten out of control, right? So we had a woman who... She was fascinated with birds. One of the episodes, she loved birds. She kept birds all the time. Bird motifs, and I found an actual bird's nest in her cabinet. And I was like, what is the story with that? Like, I mean, an amazing feat of engineering, you know what I mean? Oh, awesome to see, but why
take a picture and get rid of the nest.
Keeping the nest? And it was interesting because as in speaking with her, we talked about, you know, it just kind of came up. Things that happen are weird, but we talked about the book, Are You My Mother? And she talked, you know, with the baby bird, and the bird can't find his mother, and she talked about how...
You're not a bird, you're a snort.
That's right! Yeah. So she said she and her sister used to read it and love it and cry and laugh, and her father got rid of it one day. one day. And all of a sudden I'm like, lady, you are keeping birds in nests because of your trauma as a child.
The psychology of that is just incredible. And you do go through that with people to make sure that they're okay. When you say that you remove their stuff, you literally remove it into storage. Now, how do you get them into a place where you find what is okay to bring back and what will make them absolutely freak out?
Well, I mean, I can never honestly you can't make anybody get rid of anything because they have to be ready. If they're not actually ready to do it, then they're going to backslide. The whole point is...
And you talk them through that process too.
Yeah, I want them to be okay with it. They have to own the process of getting rid of it. But I have to explain to them, like, you have too much stuff. Like, we can't just get rid of a little stuff. It's like when you go on, The Biggest Loser, like, you can't just lose 20 pounds here.
We have to lose 200.
Right, exactly. Like, you got to get to normal. So I'm trying to get these people to normal so that they can experience their life and really talk about, it's just, the stuff is causing such anxiety and it really creates physical and emotional barriers. So that's the problem.
The transformation both in their physical space and their mental space is stunning when you always see that reveal in the home. And this is the episode that we just saw where there were clothes, toys everywhere.
Yeah.
This is their house once it's been sort of, cleaned up and normalized. The difference in their headspace and where they both were mentally was amazing, Joe.
Yeah, it's exciting because it's sort of one of the easiest things. I mean, yes, we come in with moving trucks and people and helping and packing, but it seems so easy. And the problem is, where do you begin? When it's gotten so out of hand, it's hard to figure out where you begin. And it's an amazing thing to see, to have them take their home back, because I say this all the time, but you're not owning your stuff right now. You have to own your stuff. Don't let your stuff own you. Exactly. So especially for Bridget, she really was quite, stuff happened to her. Instead of like, I choose to have this back in my house, or I choose to have this, or I don't need these clothes, or,
and you guys are shooting season 2 right here in the Lower Mainland, and you're looking for people?
Yeah, well, we're looking for people, especially around the Vancouver area. We've gone out into the burbs a lot, which has been great, but, anybody who wants to...
Can you nominate people?
Of course you can. Do you know anyone?
Maybe.
No, that's it. No. Hey, my wife's going to be mad when she sees this. You know our house.
But it's exciting. And listen, it's a tough process. Like, it's not easy to go through, right?
Yeah.
It's very onerous. You have to go through your stuff. You go to a warehouse. Yeah, you bring up a lot of drama, a lot of past stuff, and it's, a little psychological.
But if you are ready to do it, the transformation that can happen in your life is absolutely stunning. So you can contact them through HGTV to either nominate yourself or someone that that could use a little bit of help. If they've been consumed, and Consumed airs on HGTV Tuesdays, 10 p.m., or you can catch the shows online at hgtv.ca. And of course, you can use your PVR like my wife does to keep it all
But don't clutter the PVR.
But don't clutter your PVR.
I know. You've got to dump it. Watch it and then dump it. Even my show, honey. Even my show.
We're going to take a break.